So, this morning I want to read another chapter from a book that I've been telling you about. It's a book I wrote in the 1990s, carried it around for more than a decade, and finally in 2008, I self published it for fun just to put it out there. And I decided in this day and age of social media and all the different platforms that I would just put it out there again. Maybe, just maybe, something from it will help you. And here's a cover of the book. It is called Where is the Hope? And today, chapter 3 is called The Promise Maker. And the subtitle is The God Who Takes Note of Our Distress. So here we go. Let's jump right in. Suppose you promised someone that you would shower them with blessings, that you would always be there for them. However, after you make the promise, that person soon begins not only to let you down, but to reject you. They not only begin to disavow their loyalty for you, but their every thought is in direct opposition of yours. How would that make you feel? Would you want to seek revenge? Would you want to wash every memory of them out of your mind? Wouldn't you like to be able to forget them completely? To complicate matters worse, imagine that after a few years of rebellion, of their living like you didn't even exist, that the person wanted a favor. Not just any favor, but an enormous favor. One that would save their lives. How would you react? Would you want to shake your finger at them and tongue lash them? Would you seek revenge or show mercy? Would you try to choke them or hug them? I recently came across a story of someone who was put in that same kind of situation. I'll just call him the promise maker. It seems that he had promised not just one person, but a group of people that their name would always be remembered. He promised them that they would be famous and that they would bless everyone they came in contact with. He even offered them protection. He promised to harm those who tried to harm them. Even though it might be hard to believe, he promised them that everyone would be blessed through them. Sounds too great to pass up, doesn't it? That's what I thought too. But that's exactly what happened. Almost immediately, they forgot the one who had made these great promises, even though he always remained faithful. On one occasion, he rescued them from a group of ruthless rulers who had imprisoned them. He led them out of the prison and destroyed the evil rulers. Yet they were barely out of eyesight of the prison when they defied him. In a blink of an eye, they took him for granted and forgot about his great and wonderful love. Yet the promise maker rescued them, and they believed his promises and applauded his efforts. But it wasn't long before they forgot the whole thing. They wouldn't wait on the promise maker to tell them what to do next. They grew impatient and only cared about pleasing themselves. Time out. Remind you of anyone? Time in. Over a period of time, they began to live and act and do as they pleased. They began to make new friends and they forgot the promise maker. Don't think the promise maker wasn't hurt or that he didn't seek to destroy them. In fact, the promise maker decided to get rid of them. He made plans to destroy them, and indeed he would have, were it not for one of their faithful leaders who deflected his anger and prevented it from destroying them completely. You would think they would be grateful. You would imagine that by now they would believe the one who rescued them, the one who spared their very lives more than once. I imagine they were grateful for a short time, but then they despised the promise maker, and again they did not believe his promise. They took for granted all the wonderful things the promise maker had done for them. They shed innocent blood. They sacrificed their sons and their daughters to demons. They slit the throats of their babies. In short, They repeatedly defied and disavowed their loyalty to the promise maker. But after a while, they cried out to the promise maker for help. How would the promise maker, who had been rejected countless times, now respond to their distress signal? I believe King David summed it up best when he penned these words from Psalm 106, 44 through 46. I'm going to read these from, I believe this is the Message translation. But he, the promise maker, took note of their distress. When he heard their cry, for their sake he remembered his agreement or his promise. And he felt sorry for them because of his great love. He poured out his mercy on them while their captors looked on, amazed. The children of Israel deserved death and received love. They deserved to be forgotten, but were remembered. But before we're too quick to point our finger at them, let's remember our own condition. But God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. We, too, deserve death. We deserve to be forgotten forever. But for our sake, the promise maker remembered us out of his boundless love. Would that we would love and remember the promise maker the same as he loves and remembers us. So there you have it. Chapter 3, the promise maker. You know, that chapter reminds me of a very popular song that is making its rounds right now called Waymaker. In fact, our teaching pastor Rick Ashley is doing a series on it right now that is phenomenal. You can go to thehills.org if you want to catch up on that. But he is calling it, That Is Who You Are. And I love the chorus of this song. Listen to it. It says, the chorus says, Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. And so this morning, as we wrap up our time and you go about your day, or maybe you're listening to this in the evening, so scratch good morning and just say good day. Wherever you are, whenever you're listening, may you remember this, that we have a God who is not only the promise maker, but he is the promise keeper. Have a great day. Grace and peace to you.